Okay, so well, I had some therapy and I'm ready to tell you one of my other embarrassing moments. Whew, I'm just letting the whole world know about these things. But this one happened when I was kind of young. I don't remember exactly how young I was. I was definitely elementary. I was maybe like 5 or 6 years old. I was young. And I was always being told in daycare, when you're sitting in the van or the bus, some of the buses had like these seat belts, whatever. They said put on your seatbelt, and I only put it on when the teachers came around and they saw that it wasn't on. So they'd be like, hey, put on your seatbelt. So that was the only time I did. And one time they didn't think to ask me to put on my seatbelt while I was in the van, the daycare van, and I didn't put it on. So I was just sitting there. I was like on the front row of the van, like the not in the front seat, but like the front row of like maybe a four section seat van, and I didn't have my seatbelt on. And I remember it was only a couple of us in there. It was the driver, of course, who was one of the teachers, maybe, some other kid, and my brother. And I remember the lady driving the van, and then all of a sudden, she just like hits the brakes. And when she hit the brakes, I went flying. I flew straight to the front, because it's one of those vans that has like the open area, like in the front, like between the front seat and the front row of the van. So I just slid straight from that front seat all the way to the front of the van. And what was embarrassing about the whole thing is that no one said anything to me. Everyone just kind of like looked at me. And I just didn't know what to do, so I just kind of like looked back at them. And then like I just slowly got up and I just went down and took my seat, put on my seatbelt, and they just continued driving. Up to this day, no one's ever said anything. Not even my brother. He was there too, and he never said a word. The fact that they were just all sitting around staring at me as I flew to the front of the van and didn't even say anything to me or ask how I was doing or even acknowledge that, hey, I just embarrassed myself and almost face planted into the steering wheel, and they just didn't want to say anything or mention it, made it 10 times more awkward. And I actually never shared that story with anyone except for the one person that I already mentioned to you guys before in one of the videos. It was the guy in the worst date ever video. And he asked me what my most embarrassing moment was, and I told him. He was like the only guy who's ever asked me that. Believe it or not. I'm not going to even ask you guys to tell me one of your most embarrassing moments because I know that's not something people just go around the place parading about. But if you do want to share one with me, please let me know. Comment. You know where to put it. God bless.